Hey guys, what's up? It's Yusuf back again. As you can see, I'm all nice and snug. It's getting cold in Canada now and I do my video shoots in the basement, so it is cold down here. So get straight to the point. It's the importance of nutrition, about explosive power. What is the best way to get it? And is carbohydrates really the best fuel source? Well, we're gonna find out. So I'm gonna use this shit. If you want to become faster, stronger and more flexible, you're going to have to start paying more attention to your food. You're going to have to start paying attention to what the nutrients that you ingest. Optimum nutrition is the key to optimum performance, whether you're off or on the field. You need to get that in your head. The first thing I want you to understand that. Because food provides the essential nutrients that our body needs to maintain and to perform at its best. Biomechanical changes can take time and persist, but the changes in the diet can immediately take place, therefore immediately improving athletic performance. If you're involved in a sport that requires for you to be agile, explosive, the use of fast twitch fibers, such sports as in mixed martial arts, boxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, grappling based, wrestling, judo, I can sit here all day, but you get the picture. The best energy source would have to be carbohydrates. Now, before, some people watch this video and heavily disagree, I respect that. There's always arguments against, and there's always arguments against to a certain thing. Carbohydrates would have to be the best source of fuel for explosive performance, due to the fact that glucose is already in our muscle cells, ready to be, launched. The muscle to mind connection that it takes for us to deliver the movement is fractions of seconds.
Most people are going to far better on a more traditional carbohydrate diet that are in the more explosive power strength stuff, especially at the volumes that MMA fighters are on.
Because of the amount of output they're doing, like the amount of the glucose requirements of the muscles.
Exactly. And you have to be careful because it's the exact same principle. Either you're adapting or you're optimizing. And if you're optimizing all the time, then you're not adapting, and vice versa. So if you push yourself to one end of the spectrum, you're going to probably compromise the metabolic ability to go back to the other side of the spectrum. So
spectrum meaning what? Like when you're defining it?
In any way, but in this particular case, so say for example, you get very good at metabolizing fat as a fuel. That may come with the consequences then of being able to use carbohydrate as a fuel. So if you're in a sport that requires that, that's potentially problematic.
What sport would require you to use carbohydrates versus ketones?
Anything that's anaerobic. So almost by definition, so anything that's maximal intensity, difficulty is going to be heavily carbohydrate.
If you're on a ketogenic diet, let's just say, and I'm going to make a separate video on that. It's basically a diet, just a quick brief. It's a diet that's consisting of eating fats for your main fuel source called ketones. You go on a starvation period of carbohydrates, but I will not get into that just yet. That's a separate video that I'm going to make. But the point I'm trying to make is the response isn't quite the same. This is what happened in my personal experience when I went ketogenic for 6 months. I was a mini guinea pig to test out my performance. I was curious how it would perfect my performance as an athlete, as a mixed martial artist, and it definitely didn't contribute in a positive way. Out of a carbohydrate diet and a fat or a keto diet, I would definitely have to go with a carbohydrate diet, just because I physically felt the difference. When I was grappling, when I was wrestling, I just couldn't exploit out of maneuvers that I usually could have. My right hands didn't feel as snappy, my kicks didn't feel as whippy. So muscle glycogen stores. Glycogen is a stored form of sugar, carbohydrates. So once we ingest carbohydrates, it goes down to our intestines, blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna go scientifical, but let's just say your body kind of holds it as, instead of holds it as carbohydrates, which we ingest, it holds it as sugar, and the sugar scientific term is called glucose, but it can't store it as glucose, and I won't get into that again. It stores it as a form of glycogen in the liver. So think about it as a kind of a transporter to cells for energy. Just see it as that. See it as the fuel source, as little petrol characters going by it in the blood vessels to deliver to muscles, to all living cells. It takes about 2,000 to 2,500 for moderate and intense exercise. Once that glucose has been used up, you need to refeed. And this is the problem that I see in the fighting game that I'm in. that not getting nutrient dense, not getting calories in whenever you're in a training camp. So right now you should be looking at a graph. The y-axis is displaying the time in minutes of how long you can perform at a high level depending on your diet, and the bottom line is the initial muscle glycogen before we even take part in exercise. As you can see, the little circle just above 50, that's the low carbohydrate diet, and as you can see, the time is 60 minutes before exhaustion, and the triangle is trying to imitate a normal diet, just a normal day-to-day diet, just above 100, as you can see, and it's a bit better than a low carbohydrate diet. But then you can see the high carbohydrate diet during physical intense exercise and how long you can last. So it's twice as much as a normal diet. Can you see the difference? This is the difference between peak performance. If you're on a normal diet that isn't very nutrient dense, isn't high in carbs, then how on earth do you expect your body to perform? You can't. I trained mixed martial arts when I was in fight camps. I would be training 2-3 hours a day. That included wrestling, pad work, shadow boxing, kicking. You are exerting yourself. You are using a lot of energy. And I'm gonna show up a graph in a minute that will show how much you actually lose through grappling, wrestling, vice versa. And I'm going to show you how you actually use that graph to work out your weight and how much weight you lose. Like I said, this is just a guideline. This isn't for everyone because of hormonal changes, of age, of metabolic rates. Everyone's different, but this is the perfect guideline for you to understand how it works. Sometimes eating can be one of the most difficult aspects of training. I understand that, and certainly one of the most confusing undertakings. The key to fitting in loads of calories in a tight schedule is to have little snacks, little nutrient dense snacks. In this graph it shows how many calories you burn, but in order for you to realize how much calories you actually need is to figure out how much you actually weigh. So to determine the amount of calories that you are burning, you need to multiply the calories that you are burning per hour by your body weight. If you go to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class and you might undergo certain aspects of this graph, so some of them might be stretching, calisthenics, because you warm up, a bit of running. What I want you to do is figure out what aspect you're doing on that graph, then you're gonna times that by your body weight and divide that by 60, which is an hour of 60 minutes. And if it exceeds that, then obviously you times it by 120, 3 hours, vice versa, but you get the point. This is what I want you to do, and then from that you can get a really good estimate of how much calories you are burning and never be in that deficient state where you kind of have you're feeling lethargic, you feel absolutely shit. So let's just say for an average human being you weigh 175 pounds, yeah? So you're gonna do the let's just say you were doing BJJ, so you're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. 1.81 would be times 175 pounds. Then you would divide that by 60 and then times it by 5, which equals 26 calories for 5 minutes, and that's the stretching aspect. So okay, then once you've stretched, the calisthenics, you'll be doing the warm-up, the press-ups, squats, all that stuff. So that would be 2.43 times 175 pounds divided by 60 minutes times 10 minutes. So that's 79 calories for 10 minutes. Then BJJ technique, okay, so as you can see on the graph, technique would be 3.25 times 175 pounds divided by 60 minutes and then times 15 minutes. That will give you 142 calories for 15 minutes. And then now the next one is the rolling, is actually the physical, the one that you're going to lose a lot of calories out of. That would be 4.87 times 175 pounds. Then you would divide that by 60 minutes times 30 minutes, which the roll on average lasts, and that would be 426 calories for 30 minutes. Now if you add all that up, it adds to 706 total calories burned, and add another half hour for training sparring, and that number is easily gonna go up to like 1,100. So you get the image, you burn a lot of fucking calories doing stuff like this. So it's no wonder people are feeling deficient, people are feeling slow, lethargic. It's a horrible feeling. So guys, that is it. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Guys, if you literally found this information beneficial in your life and in your routine, show me some love and press the like button, share it on your social media. Our views have dropped dramatically due to YouTube, and a lot of YouTubers have had this problem where my subscribers haven't been getting a notification that my content is coming up. Now this is a fault that's happening with a lot of guys at the moment with YouTube. It's killing my views. But what I want you to guys to help me with is make sure you press that bell button, so it comes up with notification, because if you don't, even though you subscribe to me, it doesn't come up on my feed. Which doesn't make sense. When you subscribe to me, why do you need to press the fucking bell? Anyway, so one more thing as well is you might not be seeing my content because when you go on your actual YouTube page, that you're viewing the YouTube pages, what they're giving you due to your past history. So you can see just at the top, if you see, it says subscriptions. So if you click on subscriptions, you'll see everyone that you're subscribed to. Be sure to give it a like, comment, and share the content. And until next time, peace. See you later, Data.